1956. A patient reaches out to touch a gentle therapy animal. This early medical experiment explored the profound healing power of the human-animal bond, proving that sometimes companionship is the best medicine. Jamez Pueblo 1900, a mother and child stand outside their traditional home in New Mexico. This serene moment captures the enduring spirit of the Pueblo people, preserving their rich cultural heritage amidst a changing landscape. Say 1954, a playful farmer squirts warm milk directly into the mouth of a patient cat. This charming vintage scene radiates the simple, unscripted joy found in the daily rhythms of traditional rural life. Frankfurt, 1946. A German soldier returns to find his family home reduced to rubble. Standing amidst the ruins, he faces the devastating reality of a lost world and the long, uncertain road toward rebuilding. Amsterdam, 1929. Passers-by gather to rescue a horse that fell into a cold canal. This forgotten act of compassion highlights a moment of humanity in a city quickly transitioning into the frantic modern era. Central Bosnia, 1930, elderly Catholic women display intricate traditional tattoos on their hands. These unique markings served as a resilient symbol of faith and identity during centuries of cultural shifts within the Balkan region. New Westminster, 1940, a young boy breaks away from his mother to reach for his father marching to war. This iconic photograph captures the heartbreaking personal toll of global conflict on a single family. Iwo Jima, 1945. Flight nurse Jane Kende touches down on a volatile battlefield. As the first woman to land during active combat, she bravely risked everything to provide life-saving care to the wounded soldiers. California, 1899. A massive silicon tree stands as a towering relic of an ancient world. This image serves as a haunting reminder of the tension between industrial progress and the preservation of Earth's natural treasures. Giza, 2026. Beneath the shifting sands of the Great Pyramids, researchers search for a legendary underground city for decades. Whispers of hidden tunnels and buried chambers have captivated the imaginations of explorers and historians. Rome, 1946. A young orphan sits quietly while eating a simple piece of bread provided by international relief efforts. This poignant image reflects the desperate hunger and slow recovery of a post-war Europe's most vulnerable. Swiss Alps, 1964. Sean Connery leans casually against his iconic Aston Martin DB5 during a break from filming Goldfinger. The legendary actor epitomizes the effortless cool and cinematic glamour that defined the 007 era. Northern France, 1916. British soldiers play a spirited game of soccer while wearing restrictive gas masks. This surreal scene illustrates the strange juxtaposition of normalcy and the terrifying technological realities of the Great War. London, 1920. From the structured Victorian buns to the rebellious flapper bobs, women's hairstyles have mirrored social change. Each decade brings a new silhouette reflecting the shifting status and evolving freedom of women worldwide. Japan, 1870. Shinichi Suzuki captures the elegant details of traditional life through delicate hand-colored photography. These vibrant images offer a rare, vivid window into the culture and aesthetics of the early Meiji period. New York, 1945. The Queen Elizabeth pulls into the harbor, teeming with thousands of American troops. The sight of the skyline signaled the end of their long journey and the beginning of peace. Chicago, 1893. The original Ferris wheel rises above the world's Columbian Exposition, designed by George Ferris. This massive engineering marvel was created to rival the Eiffel Tower and forever changed the future of entertainment. Antarctica 1915, photographer Frank Hurley climbs the rigging of the Endurance to capture a breathtaking high-angle shot. His dedication immortalized Shackleton's harrowing expedition through the frozen, unforgiving landscape of the South Pole. Tokyo 1958. A young girl poses in a vibrant kimono against a backdrop of mid-century urban life. This image perfectly captures the intersection of Japan's ancient traditions and its rapid post-war modernization. New York 1963, Salvador Dalí engages in a surreal book signing captured by Felipe Halsman. The eccentric artist used every public appearance as a canvas, turning a routine event into a piece of performance. New York 1925. A policeman reenacts the moment he stopped traffic for a mother cat and her kitten. This heartwarming scene became a media sensation, celebrating a small act of kindness in the city. New York 1932. Construction workers take a precarious break high above the city streets, resting on a steel beam they helped build the Empire State Building during the height of the Great Depression. Houston 1969. NASA researchers study a falling cat to help an astronaut master zero-gravity movement. By observing the feline's natural ability to right itself, scientists developed essential techniques for human survival in space. Frankfurt 1958. 3 chimpanzees at the local zoo strike a familiar pose mimicking the ancient proverb of hear, see, and speak. No evil, these primates demonstrate the uncanny intelligence and humor of our closest relatives. Paris 1950. From the polished side parts of the 50s to the rugged man buns of today, men's hairstyles have constantly evolved. Each look defines a generation blending cultural trends with the timeless desire for style. Hollywood 1978. Between terrifying takes, horror movie villains share a laugh or a cigarette on set. These candid behind-the-scenes moments strip away the cinematic fear, revealing the human actors behind the iconic masks. Say 1920. Strange hand-stitched masks and burlap sacks transform children into haunting figures of folklore. These vintage Halloween costumes, crafted long before mass production, evoke a primitive and unsettling sense of holiday mystery. Chicago 1941. John Vachon captures the gritty elegance of the city's busy streets. His lens reveals a bustling urban landscape defined by towering architecture, sharp shadows, and the quiet resilience of mid-century commuters. San Francisco 1918. A stern policeman confronts a citizen for failing to wear a protective face covering this. Tense moment during the influenza pandemic illustrates the historical struggle between public health and personal freedom. London 1920. A young musician cradles his instrument with intense focus and poise. This portrait captures the hopeful spirit of a new generation, seeking beauty and creative expression in the aftermath of global upheaval. Chicago, 1947. A young girl sits intently turning the pages of Ebony magazine. This simple, quiet moment reflects the importance of representation and the power of media in shaping the dreams of children. New York, 1905. An Italian family stands at Ellis Island surrounded by their few earthly possessions. Lewis Hines' photograph documents the hopeful yet daunting arrival of millions seeking a new life in America. Escondido 1972. Countless discarded vehicles pile high in a sprawling California auto dump scene. Daniels's image serves as a stark visual commentary on mid-century consumerism and the environmental toll of the automotive age. North Carolina, 1929. The Lawson family poses for a formal portrait just days before a horrific tragedy. This haunting image remains a chilling artifact of a domestic mystery that shocked the nation on Christmas. Paris, 1910. Actor Lucien Guitry commands the stage as Chanticleer. A rooster who believes his song brings the sun, this elaborate costume highlights the creative heights of early 20th century French theatrical production and drama. London, 1870. John Thomson captures the raw, unfiltered reality of life in the Victorian capital. His pioneering street photography documented the struggles and dignity of those living on the margins of British society. Giza, 1910. Adventurous travelers in long coats and hats explore the base of the Great Pyramid. This early era of global tourism reflects a growing fascination with the ancient wonders of the world. Florence, 1951. Ruth Orkin captures an American traveler navigating a crowd of admiring Italian men. This iconic image explores the experience of a woman traveling alone and the cultural dynamics of post-war Europe. Moscow, 1941. A forbidden camera captures Joseph Stalin's raw distress inside the Kremlin. This secret photograph reveals the moment he learned of the German advance, exposing a rare vulnerability in the Soviet leader. Pennsylvania, 1942. Deep within Montour Mine, coal miners labor in cramped, dark tunnels. John Collier's photography honors the essential workers who fueled the American industrial machine during the height of the Second World War. Akron, 1931. A massive crowd gathers for the official christening of the USS Akron. This giant dirigible represented the peak of aviation ambition, a silver Titan designed to patrol the vast American skies. London, 1972. Young teddy boys gather at Wembley Stadium showcasing their signature velvet-collared coats and greased hair. This subculture kept the spirit of early rock and roll alive in a rapidly changing Britain. North Sea, 1918. The cramped mechanical interior of a German UBI-110 submarine reveals a maze of pipes and valves. This rare view offers a glimpse into the claustrophobic and dangerous life of submariners. So 1920, daring performers walk along the wings of biplanes thousands of feet above the ground. These wing walkers defined the era of barnstorming, risking their lives for the thrill of the crowd. Philadelphia, 1938. A lone mannequin stands as a silent salesman in a storefront window. Louis Stettner's photograph captures the eerie, quiet charm of urban commerce and the still life of the American city. San Francisco, 1952. Margaret Bork White captures the majestic suspension cables of the Golden Gate Bridge. Her unique perspective highlights the monumental engineering and grace of the landmark as it spans the foggy strait. Minnesota, 1952. Horses pull a sleigh across the treacherous ice of a frozen lake. This rugged scene from the northwest angle illustrates the traditional methods of transportation required in the harsh northern winter. Paris, 1938. Children chase each other through a sunlit park, their laughter echoing in the crisp air. This candid moment captures the innocence of childhood just before the shadows of war reached France. Washington, 1861. Matthew Brady captures a rare candid look at Abraham Lincoln during the early days of his presidency. The lines on his face reveal the immense weight of a nation nearing collapse. Nipomo, 1936. Dorothea Lange captures a mother's weary gaze as she shelters her children in a migrant camp. This powerful image became the defining face of the Great Depression and human endurance. Buffalo, 1973. A couple stands together on a street corner in the Lower West Side. Milton Rogovin's portrait honors the lives and connections of working-class citizens in an evolving American industrial city. SA, 1941. Joan Mealy uses high-speed photography to freeze the delicate shimmer of a soap bubble. This scientific yet artistic image reveals a hidden world of physics that the human eye cannot see. New York, 1977 fans swarm Greg Sanders at Madison Square Garden after a thrilling victory. His 40-point performance earned him the MVP award, marking a legendary night in the history of college basketball. London, 1963. Charlie Watts keeps the rhythm behind his drum kit as the Rolling Stones begin their rise. His steady beat and cool demeanor provided the heartbeat for one of rock's greatest legacies. New York, 1940, construction crews labor through the night to build the modern metropolis. Martin Munkaczy's dynamic photography celebrates the energy and physical effort required to expand the world's most iconic urban skyline. Washington, 1980, a lush mountain landscape is transformed into a gray wasteland. In a matter of seconds, these before and after images document the cataclysmic power of the Mount St. Helens volcanic eruption. USA, 1960, dozens of draftsmen lean over massive tables covered in intricate blueprints. This scene showcases the meticulous hand-drawn precision required to design the world before the advent of computer-aided software programs. Berlin, 1923. A woman feeds her stove with stacks of worthless banknotes during the peak of March. Hyperinflation German currency became cheaper than firewood, serving as a desperate fuel for families during the winter. New York, 1960, an engineer tests a bulky ribbed pressure suit designed for the lunar surface. This experimental Republic aviation gear was a vital step in the race to keep astronauts alive on the moon. London, 1945. Princess Elizabeth dons a uniform to serve as an ambulance driver and mechanic. Her dedicated service during the war demonstrated her commitment to the nation long before she ascended the throne. Venice, 1975. Two icons of bodybuilding, Ronnie Coleman and Arnold Schwarzenegger, represent the pinnacle of physical transformation. Their dedication to the sport redefined the limits of human strength and the aesthetic of the physique. Florida, 1997. Donald Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell are seen together at a social event. This candid photograph captures a moment within high society circles that would later become a subject of intense public scrutiny. France, 1960. A teenage Andre the Giant stands head and shoulders above his local neighbors. Even in his youth, his incredible size made him a legend in his village, long before he became a star. Mexico City, 1968. Tommy Smith and John Carlos raised their gloved fists on the Olympic podium. This silent protest for civil rights remains one of the most powerful and controversial moments in sports history. London, 1977. Kenny Baker slides into the cramped R2-D2 suit. For the first time, decades later, he returned to the iconic role, bridging the gap between generations of fans in a galaxy far away. Maine, 1965. Muhammad Ali stands over a fallen Sonny Liston, shouting for him to get up. This split-second image captured the raw power and charisma that made Ali the most famous athlete on earth. London, 1964. Sir Winston Churchill celebrates his 90th birthday alongside his devoted wife Clementine. Surrounded by flowers and history, the legendary statesman reflects on a life that shaped the course of the world. Los Angeles, 1990. Ozzy Osbourne shares a quiet moment with children, Kelly, Amy, and Jack. This rare family portrait offers a glimpse into the private life of the heavy metal legend behind his wild public persona. France, 1915. Sandbags surround the choir stalls of Amiens' Notre Dame Cathedral to protect them from shell fire. This image documents the desperate measures taken to preserve cultural treasures as the Great War ravaged the European landscape. Louisiana, 1911. 4-year-old Mary peels 2 pots of oysters daily at a cannery. This heartbreaking record of child labor reveals a world where toddlers worked long hours to support their families in grueling coastal industries. London, 1930. Mary Smith fires dried peas at windows to wake sleeping workers for a 6pence weekly fee. This quirky profession, known as a knocker-up, ensured the city's labor force remained punctual before alarm clocks. Say 1917. A mother clings to her son in a final tearful embrace before he departs for the Western Front. This poignant photograph captures the universal grief of families torn apart by the First World War. England, 1893. Adamachande. Primitive motor carriage boasts just 2 horsepower but impressive torque. This early engineering marvel represents the dawn of the automotive age, when inventors began replacing horses with internal combustion and steam power. New York, 1914. Chester McDuffie tests his revolutionary ball-bearing diving suit at a depth of 200 feet. This massive iron-jointed suit paved the way for modern deep-sea exploration and high-pressure underwater salvage operations. Say 1925, a golfer demonstrates a long-handled mechanical retriever designed to pull balls from water hazards. This specialized tool reflects the growing popularity of golf and the creative gadgets that emerged during the Roaring '20s. Massachusetts, 1963. Harvey Ross Ball sketches the iconic yellow smiley face in just 10 do. A minute's created to boost insurance company morale. This simple symbol became a global cultural phenomenon, earning the artist $45. Hanoi, 1973. American prisoners of war stand for a final roll call in the courtyard of Nga Tu. So prison, this solemn assembly, marked the end of their long captivity and the beginning of repatriation. Atlantic Ocean, 1946. Passengers relax in a spacious cabin during a long-haul flight from Puerto Rico to New York. This image captures the early luxury and glamour of commercial air travel in the post-war era. France, 1932. Jean Bugatti stands proudly beside his massive Bugatti Royale Type 41, with only 7 ever built. This immense luxury vehicle remains a pinnacle of automotive engineering, symbolizing the height of pre-war European opulence. Was in 1963, a man wears a bulky prototype of television eyewear featuring tiny screens for each eye. This experimental headset was an early futuristic attempt at portable entertainment long before the arrival of modern VRR. California, 1947. The Hughes H-4 Spruce Goose makes its first and only flight over Long Beach, built by Howard Hughes. This massive wooden flying boat remains the largest wingspan aircraft to ever take flight. USA, 1966. Technicians manage 60,000 punched cards required to store just 5 megabytes of data. This monumental task illustrates the massive physical scale of early computing before the invention of modern digital storage. Paris, 1936, engineers propose a radical plan to build a spiraling car ramp to the Eiffel Tower's second floor. This ambitious project reflected the growing obsession with the automobile and the desire for modern accessibility. Liverpool, 1960. A little girl sits with her doll outside a communal lavatory in a crowded Everton slum. This stark image highlights the difficult living conditions and lack of basic sanitation in post-war Britain. London, 1964. A teenager uses a traditional clothing iron to straighten her hair before meeting friends. This candid moment captures the ingenuity of youth culture and the DIY beauty standards of the swinging 60s. Alabama, 1890. A young girl patiently teaches her mother how to read in a quiet cabin. This powerful photograph symbolizes the pursuit of education and the hope for a better future during the Reconstruction. Nunavut, 1950. 17-year-old Helen Konek poses inside a massive igloo built by her father. This stunning image captures the traditional lifestyle and architectural skill of the Inuit people in the harsh Arctic landscape. Paris, 1930. Salvador Dali poses with a look of intense surreal focus at the height of his creative powers. The artist was already becoming a global icon, blending bizarre imagery with a masterful technical skill. London, 2029. Twin siblings recreate a cherished childhood photograph from 75 years prior. This side-by-side comparison celebrates the enduring bond of family and the passage of time through 7 decades of shared life. London, 1947. Bakers meticulously decorate the 9-foot-tall wedding cake for Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip, weighing 500 pounds. This royal masterpiece took 2 weeks to complete, serving as a post-war symbol of celebration. Norway, 1903. A Sami family poses in traditional clothing alongside their reindeer herd. These semi-nomadic indigenous people have maintained their unique culture and herding traditions across the northernmost reaches of Europe for centuries. Russia, 1880. Handwritten drafts of the brothers Karamazov show the intricate edits of Fyodor Dostoevsky. These manuscripts offer a rare look into the mind of one of history's greatest novelists during his final masterpiece. Spain, 1954. Salvador Dalí uses his long waxed mustache as a paintbrush for a surreal canvas. This playful image captures the artist's flair for showmanship and his commitment to living his life as art. California. 1890 lumberjacks stand atop a fallen redwood tree of staggering proportions. These giant ancient trees were once the target of massive industrial logging efforts that reshaped the landscapes of the American West Coast. Chernobyl, 1986. A grainy photograph captures the power plant on the morning of the disaster. High radiation levels physically degraded the film, leaving a visual record of the invisible poison leaking into the atmosphere. Say, 1973. A sign outside a public establishment strictly forbids dogs from entering. This simple image reflects the changing social norms and urban regulations regarding pets in the public spaces of the early 70s. England, 1992. Keanu Reeves poses for a dramatic promotional shoot during the production of Dracula. This stylized portrait captures the Gothic aesthetic and cinematic intensity of Francis Ford Coppola's legendary reimagining of the classic. London, 1846. Paleontologist Thomas Huxley poses with fossils as he develops his theory on avian evolution. His groundbreaking research was among the first to suggest that modern birds are the direct descendants of dinosaurs. Germany, 1945. 16-year-old Hans-Georg Henke weeps in shock after being captured by American forces. This haunting image of the Hitler Youth soldier captures the total collapse of the Third Reich and human despair. Nagasaki, 1945. A massive mushroom cloud towers over the Japanese city following the second atomic detonation. This devastating image marks one of the final world-altering moments of the Second World War and its aftermath. California, 1938 actors hired to play the Munchkins arrive at MGM Studios for filming. These performers were central to the magic of The Wizard of Oz, contributing to one of cinema's most beloved fantasies. Poland, 1944. Oskar Schindler poses during the height of his humanitarian efforts. The German industrialist risked his fortune and life to save 1,200 Jews from the Holocaust, a story later immortalized in film. Chicago, 1966. A 24-year-old Muhammad Ali flirts with future wife Belinda Boyd in a bakery. This candid, charming moment captures the legendary boxer's softer side just a year before their marriage in 1967. Egypt, 1890. A hot air balloon offers a rare aerial perspective of the Great Sphinx buried in sand. This early high-altitude photograph reveals the monument before modern excavations cleared the surrounding desert plateau. South Dakota, 1910. Mount Rushmore stands as a pristine, untouched granite cliff. Before the faces of presidents were carved, this image captures the raw, natural beauty of the Black Hills prior to the monument. Finland, 1920. Indigenous Sami people stand together in traditional dress representing a culture deeply tied to the land. Their resilience and traditions continue to thrive across the northern borders of Scandinavia and Russia. Say 1960, a man wears a cumbersome camera rig strapped to his chest to record personal footage. This heavy analog predecessor to the GoPro highlights the evolution of personal video technology and modern documentation. Arizona, 1935. Brave officials ride inside a massive penstock pipe during the construction of the Hoover Dam. This engineering feat harnessed the Colorado River, providing power and water to the growing American Southwest. Arizona, 1904. Edward Curtis captures a rare, genuine smile from a Navajo man. This portrait was part of a massive effort to document the beauty and dignity of North American indigenous tribes before modernization. Louisiana, 1911. Young children gather in front of a mountain of oyster shells at a local cannery, working from dawn until dusk. These young laborers were the focus of national efforts to end exploitation. Russia, 1910. Sergei Gorsky uses a pioneering three-filter method to create a vivid color portrait of an Armenian woman. His technical genius produced lifelike images decades before color film became a commercial reality. Australia, 1925. Two men steer heavy motorcycles linked to chariots in a high-speed stadium race. This dangerous and thrilling sport combined ancient Roman spectacle with the roar of modern 20th century internal combustion engines. Baltic States, 1989. 2 million people join hands across Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania to form a human chain. This peaceful protest, known as the Baltic Way, signaled a unified demand for independence from Soviet rule. India, 1903. An American photographer stands between two towering guards at the Delhi Durbar. This image captures the intersection of colonial pageantry and the diverse cultures present during the massive British Imperial Assembly. Pacific Ocean, 1934, the USS Macon airship launches a Sparrowhawk biplane from its internal hangar. These flying aircraft carriers were a bold experiment in long-range naval reconnaissance before the era of modern radar. Germany 1953 engineers unveiled the double Lambretta, a motorcycle that could be linked into a small family vehicle. This quirky post-war invention offered an affordable and efficient transport solution for young, growing European families. Paris 1914. The iconic red windmill of the Moulin Rouge stands at the heart of the Montmartre district. This center of bohemian nightlife remained a symbol of French artistic freedom even as war loomed. Canada 1870. Standing nearly 8 feet tall, Anna Haining Bates poses with her husband Martin. This extraordinary couple traveled the world as a Victorian sensation, proving that love knows no bounds or conventional heights. Leavenworth 1903-2. Unrelated men named William West share identical faces and measurements. This startling coincidence baffled prison officials and directly led to the global adoption of fingerprinting as the definitive standard for identification. Leicester 1950. Thick plumes of coal smoke drift over a bustling English neighborhood. This image captures the industrial era's peak when fossil fuels powered daily life while casting a somber shadow over urban landscapes. Yosemite 1879. A horse-drawn wagon passes through the hollowed base of a massive sequoia. This early tourist attraction symbolized the 19th century desire to conquer the wilderness long before modern conservation efforts took root. Berlin 1945. Local citizens share meager rations with zoo animals as Soviet forces approach amidst the chaos of the city's fall. These small acts of mercy highlight the enduring human instinct to protect. Gary 1972. A rare candid moment captures siblings Janet and Michael Jackson long before their global superstardom. Even in youth, the natural charisma and star power of the Jackson family are undeniably evident. Georgia 2018. The mysterious death of Tamla Horsford at a suburban slumber party remains a subject of intense debate. What was ruled an accident continues to haunt investigators and families seeking the truth. Cotswolds 1962. Workers used tall ladders to trim the world's highest yew hedge, planted in 1720. This living wall requires specialized care to maintain its towering manicured presence on the historic Bathurst estate. Indiana 1915. A horse-drawn school hack carries children down a muddy rural road. This early precursor to the modern school bus illustrates the challenges of education in the isolated farming communities of America. California 1984. George Lucas stands amidst a sea of physical models and puppets before digital effects took over. The Star Wars universe was meticulously crafted by hand using practical artistry to build galaxies. Dublin 1940. Barefoot children play amidst the crumbling brickwork of the Cumberland Street slums. This stark photograph documents the poverty and resilience of Ireland's urban youth during the difficult years of the Second World War. Oregon 1918-2. Lumberjacks stand inside a massive notch. They have cut into an ancient tree. Their axes and saws tell the story of a grueling, dangerous industry that transformed the American frontier. New York 1911. Massive towers of ice form at the base of Niagara Falls during a record-breaking freeze. Brave spectators walk across the frozen river, witnessing a rare moment of nature's absolute power. Washington 1884. A daring rider bounces a penny-farthing bicycle down the steps of the United States Capitol. This early stunt highlights the adventurous spirit of the Victorian era and the era's evolving technology. 1950. A great-grandmother shares a playful vacation moment with Albert Einstein. This rare personal snapshot humanizes the world's most famous physicist, showing him relaxing in the company of friends and family. Europe, 1913. The shortest, tallest, and largest. Men on the continent gather for a quiet game of cards. This unique meeting of physical extremes highlights the humanity behind the era's traveling circus spectacles. Princeton, 1893 students pose with bruised faces and torn clothes after an aggressive campus snowball fight. This image serves as a rugged testament to the rough and tumble traditions of late 19th century Ivy League life. England, 1940. A housewife struggles to pull frozen laundry from the line during a bitter winter. This simple domestic scene reflects the daily endurance required to maintain a home during the wartime years. USA, 1945. A vintage child's car seat consists of a simple metal frame hooked over the upholstery. This early design emphasizes how much safety standards have evolved from these basic, unprotected beginnings. England, 1872. Victorian gentlemen pose for a tintype portrait while proudly displaying their bare feet. This humorous departure from the era's typical formality offers a rare glimpse into 19th century wit and playfulness. West Virginia, 1908. A young boy stares into the camera while working as a driver in the Brown Mine. This Lewis Hine photograph helped expose the harsh realities of child labor in America. Moscow, 1969. Soviet Marshal Georgy Zhukov relaxes at his dacha with his family away from the battlefields of World War II. The legendary commander enjoys a peaceful summer afternoon with his loved ones. Egypt, 1890. Tourists in formal attire scramble up the massive limestone blocks of a pyramid. This early era of exploration shows a time when visitors could freely climb the ancient wonders of Giza. London, 1950. A young boy sits on his father's shoulders to offer a snack to a towering giraffe. This heartwarming scene at the zoo captures a timeless moment of childhood wonder and discovery. England, 1955. A small boy's eyes light up as he is surprised with a fluffy puppy for his birthday. This classic moment of joy captures the beginning of a lifelong bond between a child and his pet. Washington, 1924. Native American leaders visit the White House following the passage of the Indian Citizenship Act. This historic moment granted full U.S. a citizenship to indigenous peoples, marking a pivotal shift in legal rights. Netherlands, 1957. Students sit at wooden desks in an open-air classroom. Despite the cold, this educational movement believed that fresh air and sunlight were essential for the health and development of growing children. New York, 1912. A survivor of the Titanic disaster signs an autograph for a curious passerby. This rare image captures the immediate haunting celebrity of those who escaped the world's most famous maritime tragedy. Washington, 1980. From the peak of Mount Adams, the cataclysmic eruption of Mount St. Helens unfolds just miles away. This breathtaking perspective captures the raw, terrifying power of the Earth's geological forces in motion. Essay, 1929. A bankrupt man offers his luxury roadster for just $100 following the stock market crash. This iconic image symbolizes the sudden, devastating financial ruin that defined the Great Depression. Colorado, 1880. A mule-drawn train navigates the narrow, rocky trails of Ute Pass. This rugged transport system was vital for moving goods and people through the challenging terrain of the Rocky Mountains. Alaska 1900 gold seekers gather at the White Pass Railroad Station during the Klondike Rush. This remote outpost was the gateway to a frozen frontier where many sought fortune but found only hardship. Russia 1910. A stern farmer poses with his sons in a traditional provincial village. This portrait offers a rare look at peasant life in the Russian Empire just years before the coming revolution. Guernsey 1902. 110-year-old Margaret Ann Neve poses for a portrait having lived through 3 different centuries. She remained a living link to the era of the French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars. Yosemite 1916. A Studebaker 6 sits precariously on a wooden trestle at the edge of Glacier Point. This daring automotive stunt was designed to showcase both the car's power and the park's grandeur. Montana 1910. Native American families pose amidst the breathtaking peaks of Glacier National Park. These indigenous people maintained a deep connection to the land long before it was designated as a federal protected area. England 1890. A milkmaid and a farmhand share a quiet, unscripted conversation in a rural field. Frank Meadow Sutcliffe's photograph captures the simple beauty and dignity of 19th century working-class life and romance. Sydney 1971. A young Paul Hogan works as a rigger on the massive harbor bridge 15 years before finding global fame as Crocodile Dundee. He was an everyday laborer in the Australian sun. USA 1950. The Gilbert Atomic Energy Lab offered children the chance to play with real uranium. This surprising mid-century toy reflected the era's fascination with nuclear science long before safety concerns ended its production. England 1909. Blacksmiths at Hingley & Sons labor over the massive iron links of the Titanic's anchor chain. This heavy industrial work was the foundation of the world's most ambitious maritime engineering project. NASA 1966. The first high-resolution image of Earth rises over the lunar horizon. This historic broadcast changed humanity's perspective, forever revealing our planet as a fragile, lonely marble in the vastness of space. Austria 1942. Prisoners at Mauthausen labor under the weight of massive granite blocks on the stairs of death. This brutal system of forced exhaustion was designed to claim lives through sheer physical torment. Wyoming 1880. A steam locomotive cautiously crosses the soaring Dale Creek Iron Bridge. This spindly engineering marvel was a critical but terrifying link in the Transcontinental Railroad spanning a deep wind-swept canyon. New York 1976. Roger Sharp plays a perfect game of pinball before the city council. By proving it was a game of skill, he successfully overturned a decades-long ban on the popular arcade machine. Berlin 1919. A massive crowd gathers outside the Reichstag to protest the Treaty of Versailles. This intense demonstration reflected the deep national resentment that would eventually reshape German politics and lead to further conflict. Tehran 1970. Candidates for Miss Iran pose in a stylish cosmopolitan fashion. This image captures a brief era of Western influence and modern culture in Iran before the revolution changed the social landscape. USA 1930. A hungry child eats dirt during the height of the Great Depression. This gut-wrenching image serves as a brutal reminder of the extreme poverty and desperation that gripped the American heartland. Texas 1885. A weary barmaid leans against a wooden counter in a rural saloon. Far from the glamorous Hollywood depictions, this portrait reveals the gritty, hard-working reality of women in the Old West. California 1930 silent film star Buster Keaton poses with a doll made in his likeness known as the Great Stone Face. His trademark deadpan expression remained even when faced with his own miniature double. London 1983. David Bowie and Catherine Deneuve focus on a game of chess between takes on the set of The Hunger. These two icons of style brought a cool, intellectual energy to their roles. Sarajevo 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie depart in their open car. Just moments later, their assassination would trigger a chain reaction that plunged the entire world into the Great War. Austria 1900. A stern 11-year-old Adolf Hitler poses for a school portrait. This unremarkable childhood image stands in haunting contrast to the catastrophic impact he would later have on the entire world. USA 1965. Muhammad Ali stands tall, embodying the belief that nothing is impossible. His fierce determination in the ring and his unwavering principles outside of it made him a global icon of courage. Florence 1944. American soldiers share a moment of mutual respect with an Italian armigero. This wartime encounter highlights the cross-cultural connections forged as Allied forces pushed through Europe to end the conflict. New York 1970, a young Susan Sarandon poses for a portrait early in her career. Her natural beauty and intense gaze hint at the successful decades-long cinematic journey that lay ahead for the actress. Nebraska 1886. A pioneer family stands proudly. Before their sod house and windmill, these settlers utilized the earth itself to build homes on the treeless plains, carving a life out of the frontier. Ohio 1936. A group of local boys dubbed the Little Gang poses together on a neighborhood street. Their mismatched clothes and confident stances capture the spirit of childhood friendship during the Depression era. Harlem 1923. Young girls skillfully dance the Charleston on a city sidewalk. This vibrant scene from the Jazz Age illustrates the energy and cultural explosion of the Harlem Renaissance in full swing.